What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We back with our favorite Australian family, Dad Johnson's life, here with top 8 culture shocks for moving to Australia. Checked out 2 of their videos, man. They give my guy right here definitely gives some good information and tips on, if you want to move to Australia, life in Australia. So I'm definitely getting the inside stuff. Been enjoying it. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Let's check it out.
Right, let's give this a go. So you've heard about the deadly animals, scorching sun, impossible isolation. What was the other one? And sausage and bread. And you're still thinking that you want to come to the land down under. Then prepare yourself for these weird Australian culture shocks. G'day guys, my name's Ross and I moved with my family to Australia during a global pandemic. Now I love living in Australia, but when we first moved over here, it was a little bit weird. Now to stop things being so weird for you when you make the move, these are our top 8 culture shocks when moving to Australia. Australians love their sport, but unless you're from Australia, sometimes the sport is a little bit strange.
Hey, I
For
love
example,
AFL.
Football isn't football. And I'm not really talking about soccer, or am I? It really freaks me out to say the word soccer. For me, I know what football is. And for Australians, they also know what football is.
I definitely love AFL. I got into it with the beginning of this year or last year. And I actually been checking out AFL. I watched the grand final and stuff like that. And hey, it's some good stuff. This is a good stuff. This is a good sport. I actually even got the video game. Still don't know how to play it, but I love watching it. But
when you move to Australia, just resign yourself to the fact that you're now probably going to follow the minority sport.
Yeah.
And also need a special subscription just to be able to watch it. Football in Australia can mean many things. Football for me means soccer, but football in Queensland means rugby league. And if you come from one of the southern states like Victoria or South Australia, then football can mean AFL. And I still don't understand how that game works, but I want to learn. You can still have a beer at an AFL game, right? But if you come from the UK like me and you still want to watch your beloved football, then you're going to have to become a social hermit, bound to the wee hours of the night, just to watch your darling Premier League.
At least he mentioned in the culture shock with sports. Most people don't usually consider sport, I guess, because Australia, this is different. Everywhere else is kind of the same, but Australia, AFL is different. That's what I had to learn. But it's differently. It's so good. It's good, man. If you new to this channel or you've been watching me, hey, y'all know I wouldn't lie to you. AFL, go check out an AFL game. It's real good. If you're not from Australia, go check out an AFL game. Some highlights or something, Check out Mason Cox is from the United States. He moved, and he's a good guy. My guy Buddy's good.
If you don't like it, then take up one of the other many forms of football.
Buddy Franklin. Go watch Buddy Franklin. Buddy Franklin's pretty good.
If you're
a lot
American,
of knick-knack.
I also kind of play baseball and stuff too. But probably not your form of football. It'd be like too hot in all the pads and stuff. Or imagine getting a spider in your helmet.
Oh, no.
The second shock that we had coming from the antisocial rest of the world is the fact that in Australia, people are actually friendly to you. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, people are friendly in other parts of the world. But Australians are kind of like this weird level of friendly. People greet you on the street. Neighbours come up to your house and welcome you to the neighbourhood. People actually offer you help. Now for me, being the antisocial hermit that I am watching my Premier League, people being friendly to me was a little bit weird and it just took a little bit of getting used to. But when it happens to you in Australia, it really does make you realise how nice the world can be. Now hey, you're going to think to yourself, people around the world are nice, and lots of them are. And you normally notice it when you're on holiday. Maybe it's the weather that makes people happier. Because I can tell you that the dreary darkness of winter kind of makes people the opposite.
Facts.
To be honest, this is one of the best culture shocks of Australia. Calling all social recluses out there. If you move to Australia, it's going to make you a better person. No one wants your social awkwardness or unfriendly banter. Australians are genuinely friendly, unless they don't like you. But there's no beating around the bush. It's totally straight. Now, coming from the northern hemisphere on the other side of the world, having a cold Christmas becomes a rite of passage. But here, cold Christmases? Welcome to the heat, my friend.
No.
Christmas in summer. It's hot. Really hot.
Christmas in summer. Hold up. Now, I do remember having, I'm in Texas, so it never snows down here. If it snows, we get snow February, late January, February, somewhere between there. Like it'd be like right before springtime. But I had never seen. I feel like it was one Christmas here. It was hot. If that's not a sign that the time is almost, I don't know what is, because it's like that. Usually you see Christmas movies, you think snowy weather. I don't know. That's crazy.
You don't have aircon, you're gonna struggle. It's not dark. You and your family
Not
aren't
dark.
just confined to one room, watching each other open presents you probably didn't even want. Wishing that the TV was on so that you wouldn't have to make awkward conversation with family members who you hardly ever see apart from the festive time. Wondering to yourself, is it too early to start drinking yet? The fact is that with Christmas in Australia, you get to take all of the good bits of Christmas, like presents, and spending time with family that you actually want to spend time with. And then add all the good things of summer, like going to the beach, spending time in the pool, having a barbecue in the sunshine. Don't hang on to your old traditions of Christmas.
I wouldn't mind having a barbecue at Christmas time, you know. Go ahead, grill up some burgers, hot dogs, throw some ribs on there.
Like your roast turkey with all of the trimmings. I mean, do hang on to them, but don't whinge that you're doing it in the heat. Have a barbecue instead. Savour the wonder that is a potato bake. Why did we not have these in England? Or if we did, I never had one. They're gorgeous. Make new traditions and embrace the fact that Christmas in summer is now your new life. Now, coming from cosmopolitan Europe, I was kind of used to this next one because people on the continent sometimes like to have a siesta. But at least they opened up the shops and stuff again. Now, I know that this can catch out the average Brit visiting Marbella for the first time and wondering why in the middle of the day all the shops are shut. But in Australia, it goes to another extreme and shops just shut early. Want to get a coffee after 4 p.m? Yeah, nah. Don't be crazy. Why would you need that much caffeine in your system at night? It's going to go dark in a couple of hours. Want a takeaway after 9 p.m. on a Friday? Well, you better live in the city centre. Ain't no one going to work after 9 p.m. in the burbs. You crazy? Unless you're in the major cities, things in Australia are rarely 24 hours. People have a life. They don't want to sit there waiting in a restaurant or a shop for your convenience. Don't be so selfish. Why aren't things so convenient? Well, it turns out people don't actually want to work all the time. And you need to respect that.
I respect
Get a bit
it.
more organised. Enjoy
I respect it because sometimes I don't feel like working, you know. Sometimes I wish I can take you know, I heard there's a motivational speaker named Eric Thomas. I remember listening to one of his speeches. He said he took a year off and was good. I mean, I don't make the type of money Eric Thomas made, but it would be good to know I can take a year off. Just take a break, you know, for a year. That would be perfect.
Realise that thing you think you need, you probably don't need right now. I'm sorry that the shop's shut early, but if you don't have that thing you want right now, is the world going to end? Probably not. And if it was that important, you wouldn't have forgotten it, right? And this culture shock extends into the next one. And it's the work culture. And weirdly enough, most Australians don't like to work. I mean, they do. They do like to work. That's a massively sweeping statement.
I must be half Australian then, because that'd be me sometime.
Fortunately for people who live here, we don't live to work. Working to live is an incredibly emancipating feeling. What's the point in going to work all day to earn money to then not have the time to spend it? I don't want to live a life like that, do you?
Definitely
Especially
not,
when you have
Russ.
all of this fantastic weather and beautiful scenery to spend it in. Except when it's a La Nina year. Like, the scenery's still there, but the weather's still a bit crap. And it has been for the last 2 years. Fortunately for most Australians, this laissez-faire attitude to work extends to lots of different industries. If you're sick of the daily grind in your job, then come to Australia and you can do the same thing but not work as hard. Wouldn't we all?
I need to do that.
But sometimes this incredibly laid
I need to be making YouTube videos in Australia, in a hotel in Australia or something. That's what I need to be doing.
Lend itself to some slightly weird / potentially unsafe habits. Barefoot in public? That one takes a little bit of getting used to. Especially living up here in the sunshine state of Queensland. Seeing people go barefoot in your local Coles can be pretty much a daily occurrence. Lots of people do it, especially children. It's like they've got an
Down here we got that no shirt, no shoes, no service type stuff. But I mean, you don't see signs like that up anymore. People just know, let me not go in here with no shoes on. So I don't know.
To shoes or thongs. Just put some thongs on, mate. Protect yourself. Now, for us foreigners who are used to wearing shoes anyway, just to keep our toes warm, seeing people go barefoot in public and it's not the beach or a swimming pool can be a little bit weird. But actually, rather than criticising or wondering if they've got asbestos in the soles of their feet, don't criticise. Join them. Everyone talks.
See, I wear my slides with no socks or something like that, you know, so because sometimes you gotta let the bunions breathe. But I couldn't go barefoot. Couldn't.
About
I
that
don't think
feeling
so.
where you can spread your
I'll have
toes
to
in the
beach,
sand,
yes.
and how liberating it can be. Well, just go barefoot in public, mate. You get that feeling all the time, except when it's the middle of summer and you step on that black tarmac. Maybe put your thongs on then. Now, if you thought
Whoa!
except when it's the middle of summer and you step on that black tarmac, maybe.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that heat different down there.
Put your thongs on then.
Oh,
now, if you thought
wow.
going barefoot in public was rather informal or slightly offensive, then wait until the average Australian speaks to you. Don't get me wrong, most of them are educated, eloquent individuals, but the average Aussie does love a swear. I even do it on the radio. The first time I heard shit on the radio in the morning, I was wondering if my driving was okay or if someone was shouting at me in traffic. No, it was the person on the radio.
Oh
I've
my
even heard them
God.
drop the odd which can be wholly confusing to some of the people watching this that don't even know what is. They can say on the radio, yet I'm cursy enough to bleep on my videos. What a beautiful country we live in. Now, don't get me wrong, they don't go for the hardcore stuff like or bugger. Wait, bugger isn't really that bad,
Bugger.
is it? Oh, I've buggered this up. But most Australians will drop the C-bomb at you as a term of endearment. How's it going? I know that for lots of people when they watch Game of Thrones,
C-bomb.
dropping the C-bomb was a big taboo. And if you don't like that word, sorry, Australia might not be for you. Because in Australia, lots of people like to swear and everyone's so you better get used to it. I don't think I've ever used that many bleeps in a video before. I really hope
I don't know, man. I don't know, Russ. The last video, well, nah. Yeah, this one got more. The last video I was about to say, you had some bleeps, but it wasn't this many.
all of those out. Now the last one is something that's awesome, but also one of my little pet peeves. In Australia, they have some of the best containers for sauce in those little foldy things that just squeeze out perfectly. What's an invention? But in Australia, if you want the privilege of sauce, you have to pay for it. Want some tomato sauce, mate? Yeah, that could be 15 cents, please. Or 30 cents if you want two. Because they're like really small packets. Now don't get me wrong, not everywhere does charge for sauce. Thank the Lord. But lots of places do. And it's pretty common practice. If you're like my wife that just loves to slather everything in tomato ketchup, then not only calling
Ketchup
it
is
ketchup is
good.
going to be weird in Australia, because it's tomato sauce, as I've been told many
Tomato
times when I
sauce.
get that confusing look asking for ketchup. But like going to America and having to pay for something and then add on the sales tax, if you want sauce, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. But the good
Guess
thing is we
that's
don't
no
have
problem.
to tip. Because everyone gets a fair wage. And Medicare.
Perfect.
And gun laws. What a beautiful country Australia is. Now, if you're thinking of moving to Australia and you don't want to live in Melbourne or Sydney, and you think that, like us, Brisbane could be the place for you, then
I
watch
need to
this
go to
video
Brisbane.
to wonder if Brisbane is really worth going to.
I need to check that out. I need to check this out because I think I know Brisbane due to the fact of AFL and stuff like that. And I think I seen it mentioned in one of the other videos, but I need to check that out because Brisbane is actually very nice. And I only heard about it just probably a month ago. But Brisbane is actually nice. But these culture shocks, it's definitely the sports, like still stuck with the AFL. If you're new to it, just give it a watch. I promise it's worth it. Very entertaining, very good. But all in all, Australia, I love it. Definitely got to visit. Definitely going to visit. Even though y'all got the world's deadliest animals, maybe my first visit I won't see a snake or a spider. So that would be perfect. But appreciate you guys. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Hey, send me more video suggestions. And y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.